Welcome, beautiful souls, to our couples therapy pick a reading. Oh, it was so wonderful the way this came together. I just wanted to give a little lead in for those of you who are new here. Welcome. And those of you who keep coming back, we love you so much, all of you. But thank you so much for coming back. Welcome back. My name is Tallulah Wren, and I am the magical medium. And one of the things that, since I've been on this spiritual journey of my own, one of the things that I was gifted and entrusted to do from Spirit was to work with couples. And it's ironic because my relationship, my personal relationship, is such a saga. I mean, I compare it to like Twilight, for various reasons, but definitely because I saw something recently where it said the Twilight Saga, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what we are. We're a saga. So, relationships are different. We all come from different places. My partner and I were both born and raised into trauma. And when you have two people who go through trauma, it's going to be a much different experience, but not all of us have been through trauma. So when I was tasked to start reading for people from the divine, it felt odd to me to say readings or like therapist. So I used to just go by spiritual guidance counselor. I still do. If it's somebody I feel comfortable with, I'll explain exactly who and what I am. But if it's somebody who I can tell may not be in the same timeline as me, I will say something to the effect of, I'm a spiritual guidance counselor. And then if they ask me, I will proceed further and explain. But basically, it's a lot easier to get therapy from an outside source than to try and always figure it out together. It's ideal if you can get both of you to go into therapy together. But if you cannot, then it's helpful to have someone who can kind of give you a guideline. Now, recently I saw something that blew my mind. I thought it was a joke, and then I realized it wasn't. And I realized that some people are taking things so heavy right now. Some people are taking it with a grain of salt and levity because they understand what's really happening. In my latest episode of the podcast Prophet, I'll put a link in the description box. It was literally titled The Importance of Levity, so you may want to go and watch that. But the one thing that I saw that really jarred me was someone who I really respect and look up to, another fellow light worker, reader, spiritual guidance counselor. Somebody had, put so much blame on them and said, my partner and I really look to you for guidance, and, you really fucked us up. And it was like, wow, I'm like, where's your accountability? So it made me realize that right now with the divine feminine and divine masculine in such a scramble effect, I think it's important for us right now to get some insight. And if you're here for anything but a romantic relationship, you may want to go check out one of my other readings on my channel, or, say a prayer to Spirit and, go to search, and you know what I mean? Whatever comes up will be right for you. If it's for like a family member or work or whatever, this is strictly romantic relationships, and each one is going to be different. That's why I don't know how exactly they're going to have me title them, but when I was putting it together, I kept hearing like couple one, couple two, couple three. So I don't know how many couples we're going to do this for, but I thought it was really cool that we're using Living by the Moon and the Four Agreements for this reading. So the Four Agreements will be a representation. We'll be doing two sides, one side for you and one side for your partner. And then Living by the Moon is healing mantras inspired by the magic of the moon. And I think it'll be helpful, even if you're with someone who may not believe in whatever, at least you can do your best on your side of it. And then you can decipher whether you want to stay in this romantic relationship and push further, or release and let it go. In my own personal case lately, it seems like, what I'm witnessing in the divine masculine is these very strong steps forward, and then also strong steps back. Sometimes it's a baby step, sometimes it's a big leap. Our love and our love relationships are being tested. If you found yourself here, most likely you're a light worker and your partner is also a light worker, or they are someone who, and just because some, like you could be an earth angel light worker and they can just be a light worker. Like, meaning like you come from the angelic realm, but wherever they come from, you wanted to experience this life together, because in my experience, twin flames, you come from the same place. Like my partner and I'm almost like 99.9% sure, but there's always that little bit, right, that I don't know everything. Oh, that's so weird. When I looked down, it was 5/28 and I hadn't looked at all. And 5/28 is May 28th. That's my partner's birthday. Crazy. But also my dad's death day. These little, things, like why that, I met him almost a year to the day that my dad died. How crazy was that, right? And my dad's death day was his birthday. So we have these very cosmic connections with our partners, and some, I honestly, I have no idea what we're going to read or what's going to happen, but I just got the vibe from spirit to have this little, just like pre-chat, just to kind of set it up to let you know that this is going to be very specific, but at the same time, everybody that watches this has their own story. So to blame a reader, especially that reader who has hundreds of thousands of followers, to blame them for something that's going on in your world and your, what I mean, is very interesting and very telling, right? And also you can tell the community, because everybody had certain things to say, but the majority of people said things like, I'm so sorry you're, feeling this way. Maybe there's another reader, so very compassionate, very, like, I don't know how you found her, but, because the thing is some of us readers, we're a little further along, out of the matrix and into the fifth dimensional energy than others. And so, some people, they want the quick fix, they're going by ego. They don't want to do the work. And especially in a relationship, you have to do the work. So we're going to explore a little bit more into your relationship, where it is now. And I don't know if we're going to do past, present, and future. I have no idea. All I know is that I kept seeing two sides. I even thought we were going to do different decks, but I thought we'd do more decks than this, but this is what we're doing. So we're going to be using the 4 agreements to basically show who we are, each person, like where they are in the journey. And then, like I said, the Living by the Moon cards will be our supplemental. They may have us pull more from the 4 agreements, but I definitely am feeling that energy that we're going to be doing it that way. Okay, so I will see you over at your reading. At this point, I have no idea how many couples there are, but I wish you well on your journey. And remember to keep an open mind, and that these are mass readings. It's not just for one person. You may have some things that align, and that's perfect. That's how you know you're in the right reading. But if every little bit doesn't match, that doesn't mean that it's part of your story. You must use your intuition and your discernment, which is why the Living by the Moon is here as well. The moon is all about our intuition, okay? This isn't a quick fix to go on a reading and say, in one reading, this is to give you insight on your journey, right? I have no idea what's going to happen in each reading, but it's more about the insight. So keep that in mind. All right. I love you so much. All of my information is on this channel if you'd like to work with me or contribute to this channel in any way. And all of the information that you need for timestamps and all of that will be in the description box. So I'll see you over at your reading. Love you. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, couple 1. I have to tell you that I literally felt like the oxygen was getting sucked out of the room when I came into your energy. And my eyes kept going to this rose quartz and to this rainbow calcite that's in the shape of a heart. So let's dig in here and see what's going on. So if you didn't watch the intro, we are going to be pulling cards that are from the 4 agreements. The lighting's a little all over the place. I'm enjoying having the window open and natural light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull cards from the 4 agreements, one for you and one for your partner. I'm just going to call them partner. So it could be your spouse, it could be your boyfriend, girlfriend, you know what I mean? But I'm just going to say partner, your significant other, like more languaging like that, okay? So it's just a blanket statement for everybody. Remember that these are mass readings. Take what resonates in your story. If it doesn't, don't invent it, Use your intuition and discernment, okay? We're also going to be using Living by the Moon deck, and this deck is, I just felt a lot of ungrounding energy. This deck is the healing mantras inspired by the magic of the moon, and this is going to give us just a little more clarity and insight to your situation in terms of healing. Also, out of nowhere, my throat chakra is like really messed up. I was super comfortable, but now I'm not comfortable at all. I feel super uncomfortable. So let's just take in some deep breaths through our nose and out through our mouth, and imagine that there's a loving healing light coming in through your nose, and then just picture breathing out all of that which no longer serves your mind, body, and soul, your auric field, your chakras. I already called in and protected this container. I called in all those who wanted to be here. Just so you know, I don't know if it's going to come in for everybody, but Gabriel came in, Archangel Gabriel came in, who's also, Gabriel is of the west, of water, and communication, which can be very confusing because in tarot, swords are air and communication, but yet when we look at the archangels, we think of Michael as with a sword of protection. Raphael is the air energy of healing. And you know what I mean? It's like Michael's fire, Gabriel is water, and Uriel is earth energy, north, grounded, right? North, south, east, and west. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of, I feel like there's a tie-in here for you. I feel, I'm hearing magic and the magician. So let's jump in here. I'm chomping at the bit too. I can feel it. Okay, Spirit. So we are in couples therapy. What messages do you have? Okay, this is for one. They said, oh my gosh, I barely even shuffled. Okay, now they're not saying whether this is you or this is them. They just said this is for one. Okay, so which one is for two? Thank you so much, Spirit. What is for the partner? Okay, and interesting that they had, what is happening? What is happening? You know what's interesting? Either you are fire signs or you're not, because this is a fire agate. And when I was putting this together, yours in particular, I kept looking at it like, should I take it out? Should I take it out? So it's very interesting because I also have a carnelian over here. So maybe this is a sign as well that if you're a fire sign, we'll see as this goes forward, but I have this feeling that it's not about like, I don't think this has to do with fire signs, or it is not to do with like Michael or that energy. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of energies in this room. Both of you have a lot of ancestors. What I am getting from Spirit is that both of you are very, very powerful light workers, very powerful light workers. But what I'm feeling is that I feel like this may be you, and you are front and center with who you are and your abilities and your path. Like you're very comfortable. Interesting, because I felt a very Zen energy, but then as we got closer, Spirit saying, leave it alone for a minute. It says relinquish self-importance. Did you see how that card pulled away from me? You guys are so powerful. We're all powerful wherever two or more gather. Also, in real time, today is October 28th. So that's super, super powerful because it's an 11 day. When you add it in numerology, it's an 11 day. So very, very interesting. And we're only 3 days away from Samhain, which is when the veil is at its thinnest. And we're also getting close to a super moon in real time. These will always be timeless. But if you're watching it in real time, this may be applicable to your story, or maybe when you look back on it at some point, you're like, oh, wow, that makes sense, So it could even be like you're here. I have been wanting to do so many readings for days, and Spirit has just had me really focus on myself and my house. And today I was just like chomping at the bit. I'm like, I just feel like there's a reading, just somebody needs this. And I definitely feel like couple one, you definitely need this right now. Whatever it is, whatever you're going through, I feel like you really needed this. Also, I heard drink some water, and I always drink some with you. So drink some water. Even if you have to pause it, even if you're driving and you have to pull over, it could mean that you are very dehydrated right now. Dehydrated. Also, be safe where you are. Be safe where you are. I just saw somebody on a train and they was like, dude, I have to get up and go buy her water. I'm like, well, do what you got to do. But they're just trying to have us take better care of ourselves. So make sure that when you're done with this reading, go and get yourself some water, okay? I think this is really interesting because they were very adamant about not showing the face card on your partner. And my eyes are going to the top, which is one of the 4 agreements, is don't take anything personally. And relinquish self-importance. Now, some of you may be fire signs, but they wanted me to take the fire energy out of there. It's just a very, very powerful stone. And I feel like what they're trying to show me is that this energy must be calm. You must be calm. I feel like I may fall into this couple as well, because they're saying maybe that's the whole point, is that you're really fiery, whether it's in your moon or, in your, just heavily in your chart, you have some type of fire that is like, I want the answers now, or I want to do it now, or I want to be free. I just want to speak my truth, and Spirit saying, can you for once just relinquish self-importance? And they're not saying it to be a dick, like that you're full of yourself. They're just saying that they love that you love yourself so much and that you work on yourself. But you have to remember that whomever, your partner is, whatever they're going through, not everything they do and say has everything to do with you. And this is for the soulmates, the twin flames, those kind of relationships where, especially the twin flames, where you feel connected at the hip. And they're like, yeah, but you're not, though. You're your own person. They're their own person. Listen to that. Oh, this storm just is brewing. Oh, they're saying free yourself of that. And if you're watching this in real time, work with the ancestors, especially on Samhain, which is October 31st through the 2nd of November is when the veil is the thinnest. And it's midnight of the 31st to the 1st is when they say the veil is like, and I have been in places and situations at that time, and it is very powerful. And if you can, be with your community as long as they are of like-minded. And if you can be with your partner, be with them, but only if they are in that celebratory state and understand and they can relinquish their self-importance around that this is about the ancestors and not about them. And that's what they're telling us right now. Also, look at where the light and the candle is hitting the chest. It's like right at the heart chakra. It's at the heart chakra. It's between the actual beating human heart and the heart chakra itself. It's like, and that's what they're trying to get you to connect between your body and your heart and taking care of yourself, your avatar inside and out. And then also connecting with your heart chakra to understand that this person may not be where you are. You guys, some of us, like I know for myself, this is not me like throwing flowers at myself. This is just soul knowledge. I know a lot of times in certain situations that I am light years ahead of where people are in their awakening. And that is okay. Somebody can have an epiphany in 1 second and be light years beyond me. You know what I mean? But like a lot of times I can feel that. And that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like your person, they are either very connected to spirit and they're just going through shit right now, or they feel something and they know something and they know you're special and they believe in you, but they're just not feeling it. And spirit's like, yeah, but you can't make them feel that. You can't make that. I remember one time somebody said something to me and I know they were trying to be kind, but I was like, I'm not crazy. I really am a medium. Like I really am this. And they've known me my whole life. And they said, well, I believe you believe it. And I'm like, and it's in that voice where you're just like, it's so condescending, but they're trying to be loving, but they don't understand. And then you realize that they're not in the same place that you are, and they're trying to empathize, they're trying to sympathize, but they're never going to understand that until they have their own connection. And planet Earth right now in October 2025, it's in flux, man. It's in flux. I mean, I know I keep talking about it. I put a link to my last podcast. If you want to check it out, it's really good. It was about the importance of levity and what's happening on the planet right now. But I mean, I'm 53, about to be 54 in December. And I literally cried when I saw what the sitting American president did to the White House. I've never been there. I've always wanted to go. I've never been there. And it kind of sickened me that like now I'll never be able to visit it as its whole, you know? That is crazy town to me. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the world has been flipped upside down. Like, in the world that I grew up in, he would be like assassinated for doing that to the White House. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he would be by our own people. Like, I feel like people would lose their fucking mind and be like, what are you doing? Like, that's my grandpappy. That's my family. That's their heritage. We fought for this. You know what I mean? I don't know what's happening, but I mean, talk about stirring the pot. So there's that kind of shit is happening. It's no wonder why we're struggling in our own personal relationships and relationships with our significant other. I mean, it all feels wonky and crazy and weird and upside down. And I speak as an American, but you get it. I mean, I can only imagine how it was for like one of my favorite things I ever did when I was in Europe was I went into Notre Dame. I'd always been drawn to it, since a kid, Hunchback of Notre Dame and all that. But just in general, like I was always pulled to Paris, and I know I lived there before. So I had this moment when I was deep in the cathedral, and I remember looking up, and I took pictures and video, and I just remember really looking at it and being like, wow, understanding how old it was, understanding, whatever. And then it burned down. That part burned down. But I got to be there. I got to see it. America's a newer country. But it's interesting what's happening on the planet right now. And they really want us to have these kind of observations of things. That in the end, they're just things. They're just places. Things can be rebuilt. Things can be changed. Maybe someday we'll look back on it and it'll be a godsend. I don't know. But all I can say is that each one of us are going through such change and flux. And at the same time, we're all having our own personal experiences around things and how the outer world is affecting our inner world, especially with inner child. Now, this card, I'm not going to lie, this card feels very heavy masculine to me. Okay? But this card feels very androgynous to me. That's why I love when we do these readings. Our tribe, we are beloved creatures from all over the universe. A lot of us don't even align with those we understand the divine feminine masculine, but we don't align with a she or a he or they even, So if you haven't already read it, we have, regardless of what language you speak, your intent will manifest through the word. What you dream, what you feel, and what you really are will all be manifested through the word. And it's interesting because I said I was feeling like this kind of communication energy. And that's what I feel like is happening here. This person, I also feel like this person keeps trying to talk over you. And I'm going to say this as lovingly as possible. And this could be just one person. But I feel like this person is actually not very educated. They're educated, maybe self-educated, because I get the vibe that they're very highly intelligent. And I'm feeling air energy, but I'm also feeling earth. I also heard Germany, so I don't know what that means. So it could be German descent. It could be maybe you met in Germany. I don't know. But that just came out of nowhere, so I must always speak it. But I feel like this is somebody who, and I get this, my stepfather was like this. he didn't graduate. And, you know, when you're raised in a certain energy or environment where people, you know, oh, you don't have an education, or oh, you come from poverty, or oh, you know, that sticks with some people, especially if their parents were obsessed with that and it was never gained. So they may be searching for some type of, you know, speaking of the sitting American president, right? Searching for, you know, approval from daddy, searching for approval from mommy, searching for approval in general. You don't like me? Why don't you like me? I'm the best. Like me, like me. But the interesting thing is, not all of them come off like that. Some of them, I feel like it may only come out like in an argument, or if they're drinking, or when they're angry about something. They asked me to turn it around before we turn yours around. So it says, be impeccable with your word, manifest your true intentions. So this is for your person. They need to speak their truth. It's interesting. I keep wanting to put it like, I'm like, don't we want to, so that we can see it? They're like, yeah, but it's like they don't want to turn into you. And also I'm getting the vibe that they're a little jelly, which drives me crazy when couples are jealous of each other, because that is like the last thing you want to be. And then you have to ask yourself, what role are you playing then with this person? Because I have to be honest with you guys, in couple one, I'm literally, this is when I say use discernment. There are 3 different types of couples that are here. There are twin flames here, there are soulmates here, and there are people that are together that should not be together. That it has run its course. And all you're doing now is staying in comfort zones, but it's weird because you're just going through the same battles and the same emotions. And it's because of who you are. You can see that this is who they are inside. But, you know, it says manifest your true, and look at, it's like intentions is hiding behind the candle. It's like you're hiding behind the light. They're hiding behind your light, but that's the thing. They need to do it on their own. They need to find their own light, their own intentions. This isn't about, you know, your light and their light. This is about both of your lights like coming together. In fact, you know what's interesting? They had me wear this sweatshirt today, and I have this stain on here, and almost any direction it looks like a heart. It's an ink stain. It was a project I was working on, but also they had me wear green. And why we spoke earlier of the rose quartz, you know, because, oh, sorry, sorry about that, you guys. Wow, maybe you needed to wake up a little. Felt very secure in my hand. It's like it jumped out. But I'm hearing this, like, it's an off level, it's not balanced. And I'm getting the chills, and that's why they want you to relinquish your self-importance, because, you know, you may have heard me tell this story before, and I will tell it really quickly for those who've heard it many times. But I have a very dear friend growing up. Long story short, she met her beloved when they were both using. She got clean, he did not. She tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. He could not stop. She broke up with him, and he said, if you break up with me, I'm going to kill myself. And he did. And I remember years later sitting with her, very drunk. She was crying, and she just was like, I hate myself. Like, I knew he was going to do that. And I said, it's not your job, dude. So what, you were supposed to carry him for how many more years? Like, how much longer, you know? Like, he has to get sober on his own. I mean, maybe he would have with her, you know, in time, but she was sinking. She couldn't breathe anymore, you know, and it was getting harder and harder for her. I also saw 2859, and I don't know what that means to anybody. I just got the chills all over my body. So they need to manifest their true intentions toward themselves and be impeccable with their word for themselves. And then they can, you know, but in the meantime, because I do feel like there are some of you who are still together, but you're just going through the motions and comfort zone. There are some of you who are together, but there's just a lot of fighting and bickering, and you're like, and then I feel like you laugh about it and whatever, but they're like, then get to the root of it and take some time apart. And then there's some of you, you are completely broken up. But I do feel like you will come back around for those who are meant to, whether it's a soulmate or a twin flame. Now, listen, this may not be true, but this is just what I've been feeling lately. I don't believe that all relationships are twin flames, whether you're with your, you know what I'm saying? Like when you find the quote unquote one, the one is just the one for as long. And sometimes it's a lifetime and sometimes it's, a season, many seasons. But I'm feeling like for you guys, this is very different, meaning like not everybody has a twin flame in this lifetime. And that's okay, because twin flame relationships are fucking hard and they're about teaching and learning. A lot of twin flame relationships are trauma-based because we're powerful light workers. We have to learn through the personal human experience. That's why our past lives, our current lives, and our future lives, we're feeling like that there's no lines. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no lines. It's all happening at the same time. And it's quite disturbing when we recognize that. But it's also very freeing. Relinquish self-importance. Don't take what they're going through personally. Take the time to work on yourself and say, hey, do you need some help? Or do you know what I mean? You can tell when someone's like not doing the work, and you can tell when someone is genuinely like, I need help. Oh, 3107. We're just a few days from Samhain 31. And then 7 is about cycles, but also when you add it together, it's the number 11. Today's an 11 day. It could be a birthday too. Okay, so we're going to flip this card over because you need to hear whatever Spirit needs to tell you. Personal importance, or taking things personally, is the maximum expression of selfishness because we make the assumption that everything is about me. Me. Enough about me. What do you think of me? One of my favorite parts of Beaches from Bette Midler. Right? So here. So relinquish self-importance. Don't take anything personally. Let them be who they're going to be. I don't care if you've been thick as thieves. I've been watching so many romance things lately, which is great because I know that's good for me this time of year, to keep my head in the game and the light. But at the same time, you hear these things where we haven't been apart. We've never spent a night apart in 70 years. And it's like, I think that's beautiful and that you're 90 and that's cool. But at the same time, it's like, never? Like, never? What do you mean never? That seems a little like, you didn't take one night to yourself? It's very interesting. And I know that it, was in the script, but I was watching a lot of things that they were saying things like that, or, wow, this is the most time I've spent alone since blah, 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 And it's just like, yes, because alone time is good. Alone time, when you spend too much time together, you do get so interwoven that you feel like you're the same person, especially if you're going through the same patterns or, they're a good roommate. I've been in relationships where I was more sad to lose them as my roommate because they were like my perfect roommate with all the things I didn't want to do, they like to do. We were both clean people, those kind of things. That's a bummer. You're like, fuck, they were my best friend, a great roommate, but the romance wasn't there. And that's what they want us to be more cognizant of, This is your couples therapy. Okay, so let's see what living by the moon. Let's see if you each have your own mantra. It might be something like that. I see there's a card in there. There's 2 cards in there. Okay, Spirit, do we have a moon mantra for person 1? What's the moon mantra for person 1? If it doesn't go, then I'll know there's a mantra for you both. So let's see. Is there a mantra for them both? First, is there just one? Okay, so mantra for person 1. Okay, this one flew out at me. And they also have really cool pictures. Pictures. So for scrying, if you want to take a screenshot. I'm also getting that for some of you, you're polar opposites. And I watched something else, same thing, where he's like, But I thought opposites attract. And he's like, not always. And I thought that's so fucking true because, yeah, some opposites attract, but there must be some core thing. Like my partner and I joked for years that we were like Green Acres because I was a city girl, he was a mountain man, and we were just, very, very different. But at our core, we spiritually were seeking the same thing. At our core, we both believed in very similar things. So what we liked to wear or where we liked to shop, we both wanted to live in the same place. Those kind of things are vital. So you can be different personalities and like different things, but we both love to watch movies. We both love to make food. We both love to hike, things that we could do together. But then he likes his stuff. I like my stuff. That is what makes the balance. You need that balance. So they're saying for number one, I am in tune with the universe. So they're saying take your focus off your partner and instead put it on yourself. And that's okay. You're not abandoning them. And you can, even if they are feeling suicidal, you tell them, yeah, I love you. I don't know whatever, but it's like the other thing too is sometimes we get into relationships where it's very, I was watching this comedian and she's like, and I realized she's like, I married my father. Like I literally married my father, and she was like, it was funny, but she was like making light of it, calling him daddy. And she was just like, but that's something that they realized. And you can do something like that, but you have to remember that they are still your partner, your lover, you know what I mean? So find out where that core issue is that you missed from your father or your mother, from your parental figure, your guardian, like what is it? Instead of, because sometimes we try to sync who we are or what we're missing or what we miss at all in general, definitely our childhood right now. We'll cherry pick the good stuff and then say, okay, I want that. But maybe it was the other stuff that was actually teaching you who you really are. So, oh man, you guys, the weather is like so crazy right now. And I don't normally keep the window open, but it's really, really crazy. Hold on. I was seeing if you could see it without moving the camera, but you can't. The lighting's too, because oh, did you guys see the little fairy? And it went, and did you notice how the fairy went this way towards your partner? I'm hearing be light with them, be joyful, be love energy, because that's really what they need the most from you right now. And I feel like that's what drew you guys together in the first place. I do kind of feel this kind of light shadow kind of energy. So either they were very much in light and you are in your shadow and they helped you bring it back to you and now they're in their shadow. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the thing too. And true relationships will go in the figure 8 of infinity, right? You're going to have good times. You're going to have rough times. That's why they say in sickness and in health, and in almost all wedding vows in all cultures and languages, there's something in there about, loving the person, through the hard times. That's the whole point. Otherwise, you just keep dating or you never marry someone. But it's like, if you're going to like betroth yourself to them, you're saying, I'm going to be there for you. And the good times and the bad times and the highs and the lows, but sometimes it's like, or it's over, it's run its course. And I'm glad like my first marriage, there were so many things I would have regretted back then, but now that I'm older, I don't regret any of it. I love it. I love that I had that experience. I love that I got to play that role and be that person, because I feel like that was a part of me that needed to be reenacted somehow. Through past lives or whatever. He was my soulmate for sure. He was one of my soulmates, but he wasn't my beshert. He wasn't my twin flame. My partner now, like I said, 99.9%, I'm sure he's my twin flame. But we are in separation right now, and that's where we're supposed to be. And one of the most powerful things he said to me was, I cannot truly love you and come back to you until I fully feel like I love myself. And he's like, and I'm working on that, but I'll let you know. And he's like, but in the meantime, I want to be in your life. And I was like, holy shit, like, you beautiful soul, right? Like being so, I'm gonna take a screenshot, being so connected and understanding that is the truth of it. We need to be strong in who we are individually. Okay, so for your partner, their mantra is, also, I'm feeling some gut issues on the left side. I've been feeling it for a few days. But it's really coming out now. So I don't know who this is for, but pay attention. If you've been having things on your left-hand side, research it. Maybe it's time to go see a doctor, a holistic one if you can, but definitely go see someone. Oh my gosh, the cards are falling everywhere. Okay. Hold on, you guys. I almost feel like they want you to slow down and give them some space. I just heard slow down and give them some space. Especially, I feel like for one of you, I feel like you're going to watch this reading and like run to them and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's the thing too, is that when you're so psychically aligned to the universe and you're going in flow, everything feels great. So you're like, I feel great. But you know, this isn't like the old days where I feel like for some of you, you could just like make them laugh or do something silly, or you can just be like, you know, let's go get a pint or let's go blah, blah, blah. And they would be fine. But it's not like that anymore. We're not in that universe anymore. Look at, I am in tune with the universe. That's your mantra. So you need to use discernment, you know, don't just reach out to them, you know, sit with spirit, use your pendulum, you know, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. If you're not sure, then that's your answer. You should feel 100% sure. You know, I've been doing that recently because I feel like your person needs space. They need space. And it says, I have the power to change my destiny. This is their mantra. They have the power to change their destiny. They've always had the power to change their destiny. You know what I mean? Like they've always had the power. You guys know, if you don't, I live in a tiny home, like an RV, but it's a big boxy one, like the Barbie one. It's a vintage one. The wind is so powerful right now. My whole house just shook. So I get why you're still connected to this person. They're fucking powerful. They have the power to change their destiny. But if you keep enabling them, they never will. And this may even be for one person, you know, because I feel like some of them, they will eventually, like spirits, like, you know, you're not that powerful. You know what I mean? You are, but you're not. You know, they're powerful too. Also, I don't know, but my eyes went to this and I saw a lion's face. So you could be dealing with a Leo, or maybe you're a Leo, but I'm feeling Leo energy. Let me see. Is there a mantra for the two of them together? No, because it's an individual journey. Oh my God, my house is shaking so crazy right now. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And when I look outside, the leaves are beautiful and they're all colors of orange and golds and reds and, oh, just bright colors. Burnt orange, cream, yellow, gold. Did I say? Anyway, green, just gorgeous, gorgeous. And I feel like this is you guys. You are both individually beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous souls, but you need to give yourselves some time. Where the universe is right now, and whenever you watch this reading, it's in a place where we are all in flux. And we're exactly where we're supposed to be. Work on yourself. Be there for them when you can. But it's time for them to take their power back. And if this is for all of us, if we keep enabling people or keep giving them the answers, or, you know, because there's consequences too with decisions that people make. I found that I've been trying to control certain things, not for other people, but just like to make sure that I have this, or to make sure that this happens or that happens. And then I've been having these moments where I'm like, well, if you had communicated with me, or if you had told me blah, 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 you know, it could have saved us money, or it could have saved us time, or could have saved some energy of worry or concern, or, you know, which I don't like to use fear-based words like worry and concern, but they do happen. And then I realized, trying to micromanage again. So even when we're not controlling, we can be controlling. And I'm really getting like some scrying energy coming in there for that. So I'm going to pull back on the light a little bit. I feel like there's something in there for somebody. Okay, so couple one, this is your couples therapy session for today. Let's see if Spirit has any more. A bunch of stuff flew off my lap when that happened with the cards. I'm going to ring a bell. Watch your ears. I felt like somebody needed that little break right there. Okay. see Spirit. Hold on. All right, Spirit. Do we have any more messages for couple one at this time before we go? Nope. Those are your messages. We hope that they helped you in any way. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. All of my information and any little extras are in the description box. And we'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho. Love you. Bye. Welcome, couple two. Oh, how are you guys doing? Oh, I love it. So much of this has been so interesting because when I was building your altar, I was getting this really strong vibe that this was kind of like a river. Like they had me put this here, but they wanted it like that. So you see, so we'll get back to that. But also like, even though that there's going to be examples of both of you in both of these decks, I felt this like very much like a river between you right now. Which when I was putting it together, I was like, oh, like what's going on there, you know? But then as I was just about to start it and I opened the portal to your energy, the throat chakra definitely is coming through. So somebody's not speaking their truth, but also I felt a very joyful energy. So it could be maybe at least one of you couples, maybe you're living in the niceties, you know, like all is well, everything's great. Yeah, so I have a few stories that I could tell with this, but I feel like I want to see if the cards will match the story first. So we're going to be using the Living by the Moon mantra, the healing mantras. We're going to be using that deck to give us some clarifiers on how to move forward. But in terms of the Four Agreements deck, we're going to be using this one to show us who we are. So basically we're going to have one side, if you didn't watch the intro, one side is going to represent you and one side is going to represent your partner. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to shuffle these the Four Agreements cards. So let's start with you, the person who's inquiring. What is your card here? What is your I almost want to hear, it's interesting, this is different than couple one. So it's like I said, it's couples therapy. It's like a picker reading, couples therapy, but it really is because it feels, you know, each of us are going through different things in our relationships. We're not all with the same person. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Okay, there's a lot happening right now. Whew. Okay, so for you who's watching this, you are very, very, very powerful and very influential. I didn't use the flash before, but I feel like they want me to show it now. Like you're very colorful, beautiful, taking care of everybody. Do your best because you want to. Always do your best. Oh, did you see that little fairy flying? Okay, so this is for you. And let's see what representation is for your partner. Even with the way they had me place the card there, do you see that? It's like right by the fire to make sure that the babies are warm. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're the caregiver. You're the caregiver. Every relationship we have dual roles. The whole point is we want to be balanced, but we do have some things where we are paired with that person because we're the caregiver, they're the provider, you know, that kind of thing. We have the hunters and the gatherers, you know, the old school, but it's true. There are some people who want to stay close to the home and tend to the family, the harvest, the home, like the whole thing. And then there are others who like to leave the home and go and work and make money and bring it back. There is this huge storm. It came in right before I started this reading, which is really crazy because I'd been up for a long time and I could have started it so much sooner. But I feel like this is what they're showing us. I kept seeing something wicked, like something wicked this way comes. And then like a few songs later, my phone is on shuffle, and a few songs later Defying Gravity came on and I was like, what are you trying to say? So I feel like this might even be for you. Also the representation of the tree. Oh my gosh, my house is shaking. And for those of you who don't know, I live in a vintage RV, so don't it's not that, but also send some good energy to Jamaica. Oh my gosh, I lit a candle for them. I got a vibe from spirit to light a candle for them, so I did, and I put a white light around them. I mean, I pray for all things that are happening on the earth every time I see something, but in this moment today, I am, in real time. Today is October 28th. We're a few days away from Samhain. The veil is getting closer, so my powers and my gifts are just so much stronger this time of year, but also a little drained because the ancestors are here as well. But that's what I'm getting from you. Like, I feel really old earth energy, really old. But I kind of feel like, but look at that. You're also going to get it. So maybe this is what they're saying. Maybe in your partnership, it's not balanced because this person is going, they're not just staying at home, right? Like they're going to get, they're building the nest. There's a nest here. They got one there, and then they got another nest over there. It's like, wow, talk about multitasking. Okay, let's see what your person, there's so much coming through and you're so powerful. And I feel like this is what's happening. This kind of feels like you right now, like this scattered energy. Okay, so this is your person. Release the need to be right, but it was in reverse. And I never really look at them reverse, but they hardly ever come out reverse. I know that sounds bizarre. I don't even, right? Like, I'm just shuffling them. They're like different sides. I'm not paying attention. But that's in reverse. So let's get to the bottom of this. Be impeccable with your word. Release the need to be right. Interesting. Always do your best. Do your best because you want to. Okay, what's going on here? Spirit, talk to me. They're saying let's dive into the back. Okay, so on each card, they have this and then they have more insight. So this says, I don't want to burn anything, so let's push that back a little bit. You do your best when you are enjoying the action or doing it in a way that will not have negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it, not because you are trying to please the judge, and not because you are trying to please other people. This feels lack, though. I feel like some of you are, and that's why I kind of feel like this was in reverse too. Okay, so let's see what there says. I'll see what this says before I give my 2 cents. Okay. When you believe something, you assume you are right, and you may even destroy relationships in order to defend your position. Let go of the need to defend your position. I almost feel like for at least one of you, because the in reverse is really getting to me, because I don't feel like I've ever had such a urgency to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of, I would have even probably not even thought about it and just flipped it over, because I know that they don't have a reverse meaning and that I shuffle them without looking and things happen. But this was very different. It almost feels like how hard the wind is blowing. I feel like your partner, this almost feels like a duality. I almost feel like you guys take turns, or maybe you flipped at one point. Now remember, take what resonates and what doesn't. There's many people that watch this, and I don't know how many couple sessions they're going to have me do, right? So remember that. It's really important that you remember that. If nothing's resonating at all, this may not even be a reading. Go back, check the other ones, or check something else on my channel. But I'm seeing this a lot around other readers as well. So it's important, especially right now. People are taking things so fucking literally, and it's like, oh my gosh, we have to learn to have discernment and read between the lines. Use your intuition. But I almost feel like maybe when you guys started, it was like this. But then I kind of feel like this happened because they stopped trying to fight with you. Like, you're always going to be right. Like, it doesn't matter, especially if you're someone who's spiritual, because most people who watch this channel are light workers of some kind. And if you're stuck in some ego thing right now, maybe you're like, I do everything. I have to do this and I have to do that. And you have to remember, especially if your partner is a divine masculine, or if you have heavy masculine in your chart, either way, there's that battle going on too right now. And some of the divine masculines are all fucked up right now. They're upwards, they're backwards, they're down, they're sideways. They don't know what to do. You know, as Dolly Parton always says, they don't know whether to wind their ass or fucking scratch their watch, right? Like they're so backward ass, they don't know. And right now they've been fucking with us and they've been doing it. And somebody put out this thing. It was really fucking powerful about mind control after World War II. And it was so fucking fascinating. I won't get into it. If Spirit calls me to, I'll put it in the description box. Always check in there for little, it's funny because Taylor Swift calls them Easter eggs, but I literally just heard Spirit say jelly beans. We're birthday sisters. So maybe I'll start saying jelly beans because I miss them. I miss jelly beans, but my teeth hate them. So I digress. But do you see what I'm saying? It's like alternate universes, alternate worlds. Things are turned upside down right now. There's been a lot of mind control. Even though we have tangible proof that there was a cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom logo, there are still, the Fruit of the Loom people themselves are like, dude, there was never a fucking cornucopia. I'm like, dude, I remember. And people are like, I remember it. And someone like posted a picture. They're like, this is from a vintage t-shirt. Yes, there was, you know, but they're trying to fuck with us in timelines. They want us to be so unsettled and so unsure. When I say them, that means like those who want to keep controlling us in this mind control that they have for thousands of years. So now we're breaking out of it. And if people are still stuck in that third dimensional reality, it is going to feel like you guys are in two different worlds, you know, running down two different rivers. And I feel like this person, your person, is not steady, but they're trying to stay steady for you. And I feel like they're doing their best, but they're not. I feel like they're not good. And I feel like you know they're not good either. And that's where Spirit's like, ooh, did you see that? Let that spirit just fly into the camera, right? They're like, they're angels too. This is the two of you. Like, I feel like this is how they see you guys. But like, I mean, look at, there's, over here we've got, like, it looks like a parental figure. Because that could be the male, right? Because a lot of times the male builds the nest, right? In some of the bird species, while the female is nesting, they build another nest. Oh my gosh, my house is literally fucking shaking. It's so crazy. They said we were going to have big winds today, like 20-something mile per hour winds. Hold on, I'm going to turn my heat up. Okay, I'll be cozy here in a minute. Drink some water, by the way. Also, I feel like for some of you, they're showing me like, you can keep building a nest. Like, I feel like you keep building this nest and building this nest and building this nest. And they're like, you are building it in the wrong fucking tree. You're literally building it in the wrong tree. And they're saying like, right, look at, you can hear the winds, how crazy it is, right? If birds know, they're very smart and they have to build their nest. That's why, you know, certain birds build nests inside the tree because they understand that that's where the stability is going to be. That's going to protect them. That's going to keep them warm and cozy. You know, other birds, they don't like to be like that. They want to be, you know, but look at how open that is. If it just takes one windstorm, that's going to knock that thing down. So release. I cannot get over this, you guys. I feel like both of these cards are for both of you. The other reading, it was very specific that it was like person one, person two, you know. But this is, even though this is like 1 and 2, I cannot get over the fact that there are 2 there. And it could even be because it feels like a representation of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And I feel like what they could be saying too is that it was upside down. For some of you, it could be that your person is is really off balance. So they're either really heavy in the feminine right now and in worry wart, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? We need to make sure this or that, or blah, 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 or stop spending, or, or it's they're like super heavy in their masculine right now, while because the spiritual war on the planet right now is between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I spoke about it in couple one therapy, but I'm going to talk about it here too. What happened to the American White House was so messed up, but I'm like, am I the only one that felt so sick to my stomach that's where like Eleanor Roosevelt like literally built a place away from the White House that was for the divine feminine to bring that kind of like structure and family, a place where people could gather, and it's like, it wasn't just a ballroom with, the First Lady's office. It was a really special place. And, it's like in one full swoop, somebody comes in and is like, yeah, I don't like it. I want to make it pretty and shiny. And it's like, so there could be something like that going on too, because I really do feel like whenever there's anything really big outwardly, like in our faces like that, no matter what country you live in, we're seeing like, just what the fuck is happening shit, when we're seeing, and I'm not laughing to like, slighted, because I cried when I saw that. I thought it was like so sick. I'm like, our fucking forefathers are like, what the fucking fuck? What just happened? So it's not just about shaking people up. It's about showing people like what's important to you, what's really important to you, because people will just keep taking things away, and spirit will keep taking things away, and you can keep rebuilding over and over and over and over and over and over. But listen to that storm's going to keep fucking coming. And unless you are stable, both of you, and your divine feminine and your divine masculine, it's not going to work. By the way, this is the first reading so far that they're having me bring in another card. Love and respect yourself. Don't take anything personally. Love and respect yourself. Don't take anything personally. And I feel like this is a message for both of you. Love and respect yourself. Don't take anything personally. Do you want me to pull any more from here? Okay. So let's see. They're not having me read the back. I'm feeling a sadness. Like, I feel like this is the divide. This is why it's happening. Because there's not enough love. There's not enough love happening. There's too much individuality and going half-cocked, I'm hearing from spirit. Also, I'm hearing from going from past, like, just because something worked for you in the past doesn't mean it's going to work for you now. Or on the opposite of that, just because it never worked before doesn't mean that, it won't work again. Try again. It's like, do your best because you want to and not because you have to. Make sure that whatever you're doing to build your comfy home, your life, your world, make sure that you know why you're doing it. Because you're always going to do your best. That's who you are. Right? But be impeccable with your word, with your partner. And release the need to be right. And for them too. They need to release the need to be right too. This isn't a fucking competition. We spoke about this in couple therapy 1. When we start making it a competition, that's when it becomes like, I don't want to say the creepy zone, but it's definitely taking it out of the partner zone and putting it into like some living out something with mommy, daddy, sister, brother, grandpa, grandma, you know what I mean? Like some type of child wound that, especially if you're in like very intense relationships, and if one or both of you have come from some type of trauma or had some type of trauma growing up, or even as an adult, if the other one doesn't understand and doesn't speak your language, right? It's like, well, my mom said that if you do this blah, blah, blah. Really? Because my mom said that this is the way we always did it. Well, that's the way me and my mom did it. So, right? Who's right? You're both right. Both of your parents taught you a certain way, and that's okay. You don't have to be right. They don't have to be right. And the more you pull like away from trying to be right, the more you will feel like you don't have to do it. And you'll want to do things again. Because I do feel like for some of you, you're in the I have to do it zone. And you want to be back into the I want to do it zone. So don't take anything personally. Each of us are on our own journey right now. But remember, because if you're here, most likely you are a light worker or an earth angel or both. But your divine counterpart is definitely, they've got angel wings on the card. And I feel like you are the giver, you are the giver, you are the giver. But it's time for you to be the receiver as well. You can't take care of everybody, Spirit said. Okay, this is your message. And these all have like an image on the front. Move these out of the way. I always like to have you look at it from all angles, because I think it's important to do that, because we all look at things differently. Wow, listen to that. Do we go to that one? I feel like for some of you, like the sun's resting on your hand like a face, like a head resting on a hand. I'm hearing be a little more patient. Person 1. Okay, I allow my soul to lead the way. Yes, stop trying to overdo it. Just allow your soul to lead the way. And your heart is there too. Like that's what your heart's trying to say. That's why they're saying love and respect yourself. Because look at the angels. The angel wings. When I initially went to pull that card, I was going to put it on yours, and they said to put it in the beginning. So I believe you're both earth angels. And that's why you're struggling so much, because, it's hard to believe that. We've just been programmed for so long to accept certain things or say that's okay, but that's not okay. Like, why are people outraged by some things, but like not outraged by other things? You know what I mean? It's all perspective. So your mantra is, I allow my soul to lead the way moving forward in this partnership. Allow your soul to lead the way with all the other advice that Spirit gave you through these cards and through the channeling. You got a stormy night coming up. Make some good, yummy food. Get yourself a fun movie and be like, let's take the night off from fighting. Let's take the night off from, from pretending like everything's okay. Let's just like have a night. Let's just be two friends. Let's just be two people, going through the same thing on the planet. You may not be going through identical things, but, you are both going through, this is where you can bring your candles in together. And maybe you are on either sides of the river right now. But look at that. Once you relinquish that energy, your need to be right, or maybe they're going, yes, dear, to always let you be right. But let them fucking breathe, Let there be a divide for a while. You don't have to be connected at the hip all the time. So what's the healing mantra for their person, for person 2? What's the healing mantra for person 2? And at any time in these readings, you could be person 2, and okay, interesting. This one was upside down too. I am protected. But that's the thing. I don't think they do feel like they're protected. And I don't want to hurt your feelings, okay? I really don't, but Spirit wants me to say this right now. They're afraid to talk to you. That's why I said I feel like it's both of those cards are like, they're kind of for both of you. And maybe that's the thing. You have two powerful people. That's why the wind is going so crazy. Two powerful people, two go-getters, two, whatever. But also life changes. Things change. We change and we evolve. Sometimes we're meant to stay and evolve together, and sometimes we're not. Screenshot. Too cute. I feel like this would be so pretty, as I almost want to zoom out a little, because I feel like this would be, wouldn't that be cute for a cover? I've been thinking about changing my cover after my banner for the Magical Medium. I've been thinking about changing it. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to use your reading to do that. But it's really about you feeling good in your skin and them feeling good in theirs. And that was the same message that we got in couples 1. Right now we're all feeling a bit of a divide. Some of us are feeling a greater divide than others, but look at how they're hugging themselves. It's about loving ourselves first, hugging ourselves first, understanding that, what the world needs now is love. And as the ancestors come in, we're going to see a lot of things over the next few days. We came out of the shadow energy of eclipse season and the dark moon, but now we are going into the brightest, most biggest supermoon of the year. For the full moon in Taurus on November 5th, and then Mercury retrograde on November 9th. So we're in the shadow of retrograde, coming out of things, going into things. The ancestors, as the veil gets thinner, it's going to get more intense. So let them know that they are protected. And I almost feel like it's interesting because I feel like in this particular reading, and I'm not picking on you, person one, I'm not, but I am also a very powerful person too. And I like when people, quote unquote, put me in my place, because we need it sometimes. We need that reminder. We need the ego check. We need that moment of integrity and knowing that not everything is exactly, you know what I mean? Like some things need to be a certain way. That's the way that they were planned. That's the way that, and we can't keep trying to force it. Do we want any more cards? I think we're done. Do we have any more? So what they wanted to say was, it's like your person two, I feel like that's what they need from you, to know that you got their back. Because I almost feel like the more they fuck up or drop the ball or say they're going to do something and not do it, holy shit. I feel like, at least for one of you, this message is, they don't know how to come back to you. They want to please you so bad, or they want, and if I'm being honest, there's at least one, I think it was in yours or in couple therapy one, couple one, but we had different phases of couples in the mass reading, and we had people who were meant to move on in the comfort zone, people who were in a soulmate relationship, and people who were in a twin flame relationship. And I feel like it's the same here. For some of you, you've protected this person too long. And it's nice, but like they need to go whatever. And for some of you, if you're in a lifer relationship, meaning like this is your person, they could just be feeling really vulnerable right now. And maybe they're not used to being that, that's why the card was upside down in the beginning, right? Like they're used to being the strong one, the tough one. And now you've taken on these multiple roles. And, and for some men, divine masculine, that makes them feel very emasculated. If they haven't grown into the self-love and the fifth dimensional energy, and they're still stuck in this old patriarchal, or not understanding who they are in their divine feminine and masculine, they may be seeking for answers. Allow your soul to lead the way, right? You are the leader in this relationship in that capacity. But in the end, you are both, it's about love and respecting yourself first, and not taking things personally while the other one is going through certain things. You can still love someone, hold space for them, protect them as much as you can, and not be with them anymore. But there's definitely about a power struggle here, and why I feel like there's this like kind of great divide going on. But when it started, like I said, there was it felt like so nice. Like I felt like if I had dinner with you guys as a couple, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so awesome. I almost feel like you're that couple that everybody thinks is a certain way, and you're like, oh, if they only knew. But they're like, but that should be that though, then, right? Then let everybody know. Be who you really are, not who you want people, who you want people to believe that you are. That's the problem. You guys got to be your own individual sparkly selves. This isn't a competition. Like I said in the other reading, and nobody should be concerned about, am I being weighed down? You know what I mean? Like no one should have to feel like that. No one should have to feel like the other person is a burden. And if it is, then something needs to shift. All right. Do we have any more messages for couple two, Spirit? Okay. You are all set. I love you, Spirit. Oh, wait, hold on. Do you have more messages before we go? Did you have a channeling? Did you have any messages from the other side? There's some grandmother here who's singing my name, but she's saying it like, oh, Tallulah bird. And she's really cute. So I feel like that's a nod from a grandmother that just wants to at least say hello. So it's either to you or your partner. She feels older, really funny, but like she's dressed kind of like maybe in the 60s with like short curly hair, like a strawberry blonde kind of. She feels very tall. She dresses very well. She's wearing, oh my gosh, this might be her. Great personality. Anyway, but I feel like maybe she used to say that about you, like insert your name. But like maybe she was like, Honeybird, hey, Honeybird. Like maybe she sung to you when you were a baby or something. I don't know, but it's just very, very powerful. She's here. I'm seeing pink flowers. Her coat is like from the 60s, and it almost has like a houndstooth kind of, it looks like a pumpkin color almost. I mean, she's got a handbag on her arm, and it's very beautiful. It's a really nice handbag. Anyway, she's so amazing, but she's here. I was like, I could feel that it wasn't completely over. So this is a nod for you or your partner. I have the chills all over my body. My house is shaking like crazy. So she is here, very powerful. And she's in your corner. She loves you. She talks to you all the time. And this is her. I feel like this is her right now. She's trying to show you to love and respect yourself. I feel like she may have died when you were young, but you loved her. Or if you didn't know her, like there's pictures of you and her or video or something. She dressed very impeccably well. What the fuck, you guys? And she's so powerful. She's a really powerful ancestor. She wants you to work with her. I'm feeling like very witchy, like Tabitha, like Bewitched, like that kind of era. She was very witchy. I don't think she could be herself when she was alive, but she was a powerful witch, and so are you, and so is this person. You guys, there's something in the stars with this connection. So it's I don't feel like it's done yet. At least for one of you, it's not done yet. Or if it is, it may be done for now and come back to later. But there's definitely someone that she's like don't let them go, like don't let them go yet, don't let them go. They need your help. But no, they're saying like no when they're, because you know when someone's like, oh, you know, and patting their part, as my mom used to say, like, you know when somebody's like playing you, and you know, like she's saying like, use your intuition, use your instincts when they really need you. And that's the whole point, because in some relationships, if you are meant to stay with this person but maybe have a break, because I do feel like for some of you it's time for you to take a break from this person just to see who you are. Some of you may have been together for a really long time. There's at least one couple in here. I feel like you guys have been together since you're like in high school or like college, some type of school, because I see school. And I don't know how old you are, but it feels like it's been a long time, you know? So, and maybe that's the thing, is you guys keep, you know, taking care of each other or whatever, but you're growing, but you're not, right? Because if you just keep giving into somebody, that's what they call enabling, right? You're not helping. They're not helping you, and you're not helping them. It's hard, but that's what tough love is, right? Love and respect yourself and each other. Okay. Those are her only messages, but I feel like she may want to speak with you further. So just sit in meditation, call out to her if you know who this is, or maybe she's just an energy who's trying to speak to all of us. But seriously, my house is like insanely shaking right now. It's cray cray. Oh my gosh, and I don't even use that term, but it is really, and it's crazy because I'm looking outside and it doesn't even look that windy, but it's like right here, it is windy as fuck. And I feel like she is definitely trying to talk to you. And it could be for some of you that it could be the ancestors. It's time for you to get close. I don't know what Spirit's going to have me do, but I'm sure I'll do something for Samhain. So make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And so you'll see when something does come up. I may come live on here live. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. There's more information in the description box if you'd like to work with me, or if you would like to contribute to this channel. And remember that prayer is free. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. I hope. Bye. Okay, I rarely do this, like stop in the middle of a reading to show you, but oh my gosh, like this wind is crazy. You should have seen it like 2 seconds ago. It was so nuts. So during this reading, I just want you guys to kind of see. Look at this. In couple 1 and couple 2, the winds, I mean, were shaking my house. And you know what? I'm not strong enough to get up there and fix the canopy, but it's like ripping off. It's been ripping off anyway, but look at this. It's crazy. Look at the canopy. You can hear stuff knocking. Change is afoot, my friends. Change is afoot. So I just wanted to, wow, look at that. Shit. Some scrying for you. Oh gosh, look at that, look at that. Oh my gosh. I was like, Spirit, I'm not gonna tip over, am I? They're like, no, you're good. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, that this winds and the leaves and just the beauty and the power of nature. See those, look at all those leaves. And maybe this is the lead in for 3. Maybe a change is a coming in your relationship. All right, let's get to your reading. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Gaia. Welcome, couple 3. Welcome to your couples therapy with Spirit. It's so funny. It's so funny. This is like one of the most fun readings I don't know if I've ever done anything in this kind of energy before, where it's like a couples therapy, because that's what it literally feels like, a couples therapy session. So what we're going to be doing is, if you didn't watch the intro, is we're going to be using the 4 agreements deck for our kind of showcasing like who you are and who your person is. These are romantic relationship readings. And Living by the Moon will be the healing mantras that we will be using at the end to help you moving forward. Okay, so let's start with that. I'm not feeling a lot of channeling coming through, but it's kind of interesting. I will say this, we're doing something a little different with you. So, so far we've been doing for the other 2 readings, we had the 4 agreements cards first, and then we did the mantras. But because the mantras have a picture on one side and a mantra on the other, they want me to actually show you those first, and we will get to your readings. Okay, so thank you, Spirit, for couple 3, for person 1. What's their mantra? What's the mantra? We'll show them the picture first. We'll show them the mantra at the end. But what would you like them to see and hear? Maybe it's more than one card. Oh, I said maybe. Maybe it's more than one card, and like 2 of them were stuck together. So interesting, but they have them stuck together with the images on both sides, but they want me to start with this one just as it is. Okay, so we'll start there. And let's see, so that's you, your person 1. And I think I'm going to put the flashback on, and we're going to turn these in a little bit so you can really see your... Okay, so for person 2, Spirit, for couple 3, person 2, do we have their healing mantra and imagery, if they need more than one as well? Oh, your person just had 1. Oops. Oh, okay, but all the cards just fell on the ground, so that's interesting. And it's interesting that I want to go this way, but I feel like it's this way. So I don't know what that means, but I go with the flow and do as I'm told. Hold on. I'm picking up the cards. Hold on. Whew. As a sensitive, I'm like, this energy is like so intense. It's so intense. Not even like, there's just so much coming at me. Okay, so at the same time, I'm going to see if do we want to, couple 3, person 1, do we want to pull their 4 agreements card yet? They're saying not yet. Oh, did you just see the fairies flying into the camera? There is some magic going on here, you guys. We are just a few days in real time. Today is October 28th, 2025, and we are just days away from Samhain, to the veil being super thin between us and the other side. And oh my goodness. Oh, my house is shaking. It's insane. I was thinking the other day that I was like, I think we need to get stabilizers on here. And I was like, I kept asking Spirit if we should go up on wood planks, and they were like, no. But I didn't ask if we should get like the stabilizers. But you know what? That when we have things like this is how we learn. And maybe that's why this is happening, so that there must be something going on with you guys. You know, because I just heard nothing's perfect, right? Like sometimes you may think you got everything right, you got everything done, you got everything good, but there's one thing that you weren't thinking about, and maybe neither was your partner. And I kind of get this vibe that like maybe you guys have a tendency to blame each other for things. I say it like that because I'm like, it's not pretty, right? Like nobody wants to hear this certain parts of our relationship that are not the right. Nobody wants to look at the guts and the gook of the relationship, but sometimes we got to get in there, especially if it's something that's serious. And I do feel like you are either approaching getting into a serious relationship right now, or you're in a serious relationship, and things aren't working well. And I do feel like for at least some of you, you're really thinking about, you or both of you or your partner are thinking about jumping ship. That's the vibe I'm getting from Spirit. But they want me to show you something. Sun and moon. Sun and moon. Right? Here's the thing. Every reading has been different. This has 2, that has 1, that doesn't mean anything. This is kind of like, it's like a Pictionary for your relationship is what I'm getting from Spirit. It's almost like you're the sun and the moon, you're the yin and the yang, you're the, you know, but the winds are brewing and winds are changing and things must change. Sometimes we see it from one way, sometimes we see it from another way. This one in particular, I mean, it's in a crescent, right? But if it was full, it would be covering the other one up. But I do feel like maybe in your relationship, the yin and the yang is like one of you is like really bright and powerful. You're as big as the sun, your personality. You know, you could be a Leo or, you know, a fire sign, Aries, Sag. But then I feel like the moon could be somebody who's a little more subdued, right? Like we're approaching a super moon on November 5th. And it's like when the earth is closest to, when the earth and the moon and the sun, right? Like we are all coexisting together. We cannot have, like right now we're having this windstorm. There's all these storms that are happening. I said a prayer for Jamaica. Please do the same. I'm sure all of you guys, just as myself, light candles and say prayers every time we, you know, are given another situation to say prayers for and send good energy to. But we're having some crazy storms where I live too, like 20 something plus mile per hour winds. And in my little Barbie RV, that's intense, right? It's like the house is shaking. But no, seriously, the opposites, if you were drawn to any of the other readings, you may want to go there. I don't encourage, like, you know, if you want to watch them all, that's fine. But I do feel like there were very specific things in them. But our relationships are very complex and very diverse. So you may find some pearls in the other readings. But if you're searching for answers, what I kind of got from Spirit is, I feel like you know who you are and they know who they are, but you may just be at an impasse right now. Holy shit. Wow. When I looked down, it was 128.57, and then it went to 128.58. So keep this in mind, right? Now they want you to look at this. Look at how gently they're holding that crescent moon. I feel like also the crescent moon, I'm not sure if it's you or them, but I feel like the crescent moon, like it's empty, right? Like it looks empty. It's like negative space, but maybe there's a shadow energy going on too with whomever, because I feel like one of you is the sun and one of you is the moon. So like whichever, right? And this, what they're trying to show is that I saw it this way. It could be, this could be very cool, this image, right? Because if I go like that, I want you to see it like that, right? What's so cool about that image is it almost looks like a goddess, right? Like with like a cool like headpiece or something on. It almost kind of feels like horns too. So I kind of saw Taurus energy. But if you're dealing with something, you know, all of us have different levels and comfortability of whether we want to be seen or not be seen. Some of us, we can't help it. We're like a walking, like when Taylor Swift was trying to explain her fiance, you know, Travis Kelce, she said, he's a walking exclamation point. And his brother was like, oh my gosh, he's like, my whole life I've always wanted to, like, what word like really describes him? He's like, that's exactly what he is. Like some people are just like, they're just on all the time. That's just part of who they are. And so, you know, if you're with somebody who likes the spotlight, but like not all the time, then maybe make sure that like when it's their time, give them their glory, give them their goods, you know? Sometimes we need to take a step back and allow the other person to be who they are. And it may not look the same to you, right? And also how they have this imagery, right? It's like, it almost felt like a ship, you know? It almost feels like a ship with like stars like going in the night. But if it's upright like that, right? It's like falling stars. I mean, there's definitely something here with this energy with the crescent moon. Look at that. And this one, you can look at it all different ways too. Kind of looks like a banana, right? Maybe you're holding them down, you know, or maybe this isn't you. Maybe it's they're holding you down. You know what I'm saying? This is a couple. So when I say you, it could be either one. We're doing this differently. I feel like I'm almost like, because I was pausing to be like, okay, what else would you like me to say, you know? And they're like, so maybe even take a minute to just look at it. Like when this one is filled in and it's got stars falling, what does that mean? It could even be if you turn it this way. I don't really feel anything there, but maybe you did. It could even be that it's trying to grow. Maybe your person or you are in a growth period. Shielding one another. Drink some water, by the way. I just heard from Spirit. Holding each other up when you can. I'm going to get to the cards. Nothing's coming through. But that's when I always feel like then it's something for you guys to look at. I feel like this one wants to come back too, but like this way. Ooh, I feel like they shield you too, like, right? Like whoever the moon person is. Like they're always trying to shield the sun person. Or because it doesn't feel like they're trying to take their light. It feels like they're trying to protect you. Or protect the sun. The moon feels like it's, let me see. So can we have a card for, this is for couple 3. Can we have an indicator card for the first person so they can try and maybe understand who they are? Preferably if there's anything with suns and moons, it might give it a little more clarity. It's up to you, Spirit. So for person 1, can we have an indicator card, please, for person 1? Ooh, 2s, like my hand was like stuck together here. Okay, so we have communicate with clarity. Oh, it said this is you guys. Don't make assumptions. Communicate with clarity. Let your life be transformed. Also, you guys, I almost said light. And there's like, you know, from the flash right there. It's almost like, and it also feels like, you know, one of you is like, you've become the butterfly. And the other one is still like, they haven't even gone into the cocoon phase yet. And so it's like, if you want this to work, you're going to have to really work hard at it, and you're going to have to communicate with clarity, and don't make assumptions of yourselves. I feel like as of right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not feeling, even though I said person one, person two, they were like stuck together. Or I said person one, they were stuck together. So I don't know. Let me see. Do we have, is there an indicator card for person two, and that's just two for person one? Is there an indicator card for person two? Yeah, my gut was right. I feel like that's the whole point. They don't want you to segregate, you know, that like, and it's interesting because all the readings have been so different. But in your situation, couple three, that's why we have different readings, because these are different couples, different people, different ways of communicating, different ways of understanding life and how we're allowing it to transform us. So I feel like for some of you also, did you guys notice? Look at how this is going right at the bottom of that. Do you see that? Do you see this? So it's just like the sun and the moon. Wow, you guys really need to talk to each other. I feel like someone's choking me. The wind is going crazy. You really do need to communicate, because I'm getting the vibe that like you're shining, like, see how the light is shining onto the shadow? One of you is the sun, one of you is the moon. But we need this, Earth, we need the sun and the moon to survive. But the sun and the moon, the whole point is they're not always in the same place, right? Right? That's why we have these eclipses and different times of the year where, you know, relationships are just like seasons, just like the sun and the moon. Also, it's been so dark and creepy as fuck, and now out of nowhere, the sun just came out. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to see if you can. The sun just came out. It was too dark. I had to put the flash on. Listen to that. Oh my gosh. Now, mind you, I live by the sea. That's why it's like that. But also, isn't it interesting that I live by the sea and we've got a lighthouse here? Your mission, should you choose to accept it, listen to the song Lighthouse by Kelly Clarkson, but don't listen to it from like your side of the story or their side of the story. Just listen to it as a story and listen to it like 3 times. You know, if you can, put headphones on or blast it, whatever, where you can really listen to it and connect with it. Close your eyes and listen to the words. Listen to it. Because I swear to you, every time I hear that song, I hear it differently. And I've heard it differently because depending on where I'm at in the season of my emotions, my relationships, my life, Earth itself, the energy, what time of year it is, what time of day it is. We are meant to be these ever-changing beings. I remember the first time I found out that, you know, all the things that the monarch goes through, well, all, you know, butterflies, right? Moths, like what they have to go through, and that they don't even, and butterflies, they don't even get to live very long. And it's like, wow, what an amazing transformational process, and you don't even get to enjoy it. And Spirit's like, but we are not butterflies. The butterfly is a metaphor for who we are. They're saying, allow yourselves to keep going back into the cocoon and learning and growing and changing and evolving. I mean, look at how, I love it. Look at how the other card where the butterfly is, they had me keep the card that way where the star looks like it's growing, right? Like something's growing out of the ground. And there's the butterfly getting grounded in the earth. And it could be also for in your relationship, one of you might have a heavy water sign in your chart. One of you may have a lot of earth in your chart. since we have earth and water, there are different forms in this deck of earth, air, fire, and water, metal, So that really just came to me, especially because on the lighthouse, it's a face, like it's a human face. And the butterfly is, I feel like, a representation of the light within us all. But it says, let your life be transformed. So let's start with this one. They have two sides here. I'm going to put it here so you can, if you want to take a screenshot to read it for later. I'm going to hold it. Hold on. There we go. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. If all humans would communicate with impeccability of the word, all of our relationships would change. There would be no wars, no violence, no misunderstandings. When text came out, my mom said that was the beginning of the end of humanity. I was like, come on, Mom. I remember when I used to think my mom was being dramatic, and now looking back on it, I'm like, she was right. She's like, the whole point is that when you talk to somebody, when you're like, if you're writing a letter to somebody, especially if you're writing a love letter, right? Since these are couple readings, my dearest darling, how I miss you. That's how you would have to communicate with somebody. There were no telephones. There wasn't text. There wasn't email, right? Or you don't get a letter like that. You get a letter, my deepest sympathies, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. You know what I mean? And like right out the gate, you're like, holy shit, something bad happened. And my mom said, when you text, she's like, it's instant gratification. So people aren't really taking time to think about what they want to say. They're not, oh my God. They're not going through the emotion. I apologize, guys. Sorry, God, Goddess, Creator Energy. But you're not connecting with the person, or, right? Like if you just got bad news and you immediately call your partner, text your partner, whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 then that person's like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 right? Like, because they're connected to you, they're going to feel that. But right now, what's happening on the planet, and why I think they had me do this during this windstorm right now, is to show us how powerful we are, how impeccable we need to be with our words, and how we should never make assumptions, because someone may feel something in 1 minute and literally can feel completely different in another minute. Human emotions are very deep and complex and be contrived. There's just, I remember hearing the first time when I was young how, because I came from a home that was very physically violent, and I remember somebody said, words can cut through, deeper than any knife ever could, or any punch, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, you obviously don't live in my house, or and then I started to realize, like, yeah, like my dad would get physical with my mom because my mom was super intelligent, and she can cut you down and like, boom, she knew how to go for the jugular. That was like her gift, but also, right, like could be a curse because that's really mean. So, and I learned from the best. And watching that, we take things in as children like little sponges. We lose our true connection and communication with each other when we start taking on others' feelings, emotions, right? Misunderstanding, sadness, drama. You could be having a super chill fucking day, and then your partner, texts you, and it's like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 this happened. And I don't know about you guys, but one thing I really disliked when I was texting people, that were drama in my life, would be that they would send me like some heavy dramatic text and then nothing. And then I'm like, so what happened? I'm like, are you okay? I'd call them. They don't answer. I'm like, what the fuck? The next day I like message them again. They're like, oh yeah, everything's fine. I'm like, so you didn't think to like text me or call me and let me know, like, I've been sitting over here concerned about you, it's like these weird things, these communications that have over the years have just been so completely fucked and bastardized and mistreated and misunderstood. So I feel like for you guys, communication is the issue. And I feel like if you would allow the transformation to take place, you wouldn't have these misunderstandings anymore. So this one says, let's get in here. Ooh, oh, we'll put that back there. Interesting. It's so crazy right now. Can you guys hear that? I'm trying to act all cool, but I'm not gonna lie. It's a little unsettling that my house is literally shaking the whole time. Okay, so it says, when you stop making assumptions, your word becomes impeccable and your life is completely transformed. Magic just happens in your life. What you need comes to you easily because spirit moves freely through you, right? Because once you guys start communicating about everything, you know, I mean, I know with my partner and I, we struggle with this because I'll be like, I don't, you know, even though we're so bonded, I'm like, yes, I can read your mind kind of, but at the same time, I mean, I can also feel like that they're in their closed off time and I'm like, cool, but are we going to do something this day or not? And it's kind of like, well, I'll get back to it and so I think that right now there's a battle of that too in communication with people where people are trying to find their voice and take their power back. But there's an interesting conundrum there, right? Of like, we don't really owe each other anything. You know, like I've said to you guys, if I don't respond to you for days, like just know my phone is off. That's true. My thing is like, when you're kind of planning something with someone and they just kind of like leave it mid-plan, and you're like, okay. So what I've learned is that for them, that means that they're overwhelmed. That means they're feeling a little, so I'm like, there are sometimes in a relationship where there will be one of you that will have to take more on than the other. If that's part of your soul contract, then that's part of your soul contract, especially if it's, you know, a beshert, a twin flame, you know, somebody, a soulmate, somebody who, you know, you guys signed on for this. You know, some of you might be in a comfort zone relationship where you need to get out of it because neither of you are growing or moving. You're just going on the hamster wheel over and over and over again. But for those of you who are just going through growing pains in your communication, this is just like a reminder that that's what you need to focus on, is the communication and the impeccability with your word, both of you, right? It says all of our relationships would change. There'd be no wars, no violence, no misunderstandings if we just communicated. And because we have the luxury of doing it now with the mode of texting, with the mode of email, calling, all these, you know, some of it is gaslighting, some of it is power control, you know, and so that's where you're going to have to decipher. And if it is something that's in the shadow like that and coming from an old patriarchal divine masculine energy, then you have to find a way to communicate that with them. You know, because the truth is, if you're with your true person, when you get to the shit or get off the pot time, they will show themselves. They will show you who they are. And for some of you, I feel like that's what you need to see, and that's okay because that's where they are. And for some of you, others of you, you know, it's like that kind of thing where you can have a shitty day. But if the shitty day is every day, all the time, and it's just like, you know, there's no communication, there's no, you know, and you're just like feeling like you're, you know, two ghosts living and haunting the same house, that's not healthy, you know? So here are your mantras. I'm going like here because I kind of feel like they want me to go here first, but I'm not sure which one they want me to show first. So I'll see which one goes in my hand first. Okay. So this is for behind the communication. Is I add value to the world, right? And say that to them. Maybe they need that. Maybe the communication they need is like that, like, hey, you're just as awesome and beautiful and sparkly as me. I'm sorry you're going through a tough time. I'm sorry you're going through the shadow. Holy cannoli, spirit. You know, but I'm okay, you guys, don't worry. And obviously, if you're watching this, I'm okay. You know what I mean? Like, Spirit wouldn't have me post it if I wasn't. But, you know, there's a lot of magic here. I do see a lot of magic in this relationship. So, and sometimes we're attracted to each other through the glitz and the glamour of something. And sometimes it's because we're attracted. I remember my first date with my twin flame, and I was like, I don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't know if I've ever felt like this. I've had first dates that turned into, you know, I almost married, you know, one. But at the same time, this was different. I was like, no, it was like, he's like, you want my body? I'm like, no, I mean, yeah, I do. I'm like, but it's not like that either. I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. And now over the years, I'm like, okay, so this is what this is, right? So this is important. You both add value to the world. And maybe you needed to get this mantra for yourself, put it on a Post-it, you know, take a screenshot of this. Here, I'll go in closer. Take a screenshot and, you know, put it on your phone. I add value to the world. And also, when you stop making assumptions, your word becomes impeccable and your life is completely transformed, because that's how you add value to the world, when you stop making assumptions. This is both of you. Magic just happens in our lives. What we need comes to us easily because Spirit moves freely through us. Okay, now they're having me go to this one. Ooh, this one looks intense. I feel like this might be a screenshot too. Hold on. Let me back up a little bit. Let me get in there. All right, here we go. I release all negative thoughts of the past and all worries for the future. And on this wind, I will do it for you. Let's say it together. I release all negative thoughts of the past and all worries for the future, for the collective and myself, whatever's in the greatest and highest good of each individual. I claim it for all of us, and so it is. Thank you, Spirit, with grace and gratitude. Blessed be Aho. On the winds of change, may it go and blow and fly away, because we don't need that. No more making assumptions. No more making assumptions. This is so pretty. You guys have had, like, all of these readings have been so pretty. Like, so pretty. Like, look at the way these crystals are going together. I love the way this is glinting off there and making it green. It's just, and the amethyst, that's just all special. Also, work with amethyst. You know, it's a very healing, very, I just heard comprehensive, or what'd you say? I heard comprehensive, but then I also heard a cohesive healing energy for the two of you, right? It's like, that's why it's in the middle. So our last message is, oh, it's over here. That's right. And just so you know, so you can see what this one was, it was this one. So the sun and moon was, I add value to the world, which is why it's so powerful. The two of you, sorry you guys, that one just really got me. It was just too close to home. Okay, I'm all right though. And here's this one. I'm so sorry to bring you all this. Whatever I choose to believe becomes true to me. Right? So if you believe that you will heal through this, then you will. If you don't, then you won't. And you both have to be on board. My partner and I, every time it's gotten to a point where I was like, dude, I'm like, we have to like move forward another inch, you know, because sometimes, you know, it's about having patience with our beloved too, because some of us move faster than others, especially if you're the sun and they're the moon, right? And they're the one that they're moving a little bit slower, right? The moon goes through cycles, but the sun's burning fucking hot all the time. She's like, I'm burning hot, bitch, I'm burning hot. But it's also, it's male energy, right? Ra. And the moon is the divine feminine. So this is kind of interesting. So it could even be that they're flip-flopped, you know, depending on what you align with in this story. But I definitely was feeling a lot of feminine energy around the sun and masculine energy around the moon. So there must be something too that's a little flippity flop going on there with your energies, and that's okay too. I keep seeing images of the Witches of Eastwick, so it's been if you know your mission, should you choose to accept it, watch Witches of Eastwick again too. And also, it's a great example about power and giving power and receiving power and taking our power back and learning how to understand and energize our power to the best and the greatest of all. Sorry, I'm on an old creaky bench. My bench is so old. It's one of those, have you ever seen them with the claw feet and they have glass balls on the bottom? It's so cool and old and witchy, but it does creak. Well, you know, except for my kind of things, which was maybe kind of fun during this era, this energy, because it is just a few days away from Samhain 2025. October 28th is the date today. So it's an 11 day, and that's the number of the angels as well. So, you know, work with your energy and do your best to just focus on yourself. Release all negative thoughts of the past and all worries for the future, right? Because the past is over. You can't fucking change it. Even if you want to get in a time machine and go there and change it, you know, it's like, but why would you want to? Be where you are and like go from this point forward. And the future hasn't happened. So, oh my gosh, be in the now, man. Be in the now. Okay, so I add value to the world. Whatever I choose to believe becomes true to me, and I release all negative thoughts of the past and all worries for the future. Do we have any more messages for couple 3 from the 4 agreements? No. Do we have any more from the moon? No. Do we have any more channeled messages that want to come through at this time? No. We thank you for being here during this awesome windstorm, but it really is a metaphor for change right now for all of us. And I'm going to go outside and see what keeps banging up against my house. I think I know what it is, but I need to go check it out. All right, you guys, until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. All of my information is all over this channel in the description box. There's fun little, I'm starting to call them jelly beans because my birthday sister calls them Easter eggs. And earlier I said jelly beans so naturally it made me chuckle. So look for extra little jelly beans in the description box. All right, I love you. We'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho.